Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Labs Garage. This Saturday, there is a car show and a swap meet. Not too terribly far from the house, probably about 10 miles. And I look forward to a good swap meet. I don't know what happened to swap meets. They used to be great. Now they're kind of few and far between. But nonetheless, there is one scheduled for this weekend. I find the best way for me not to spend money at a swap meet is for me to take a truck where I can carry home anything I want. If I do that, I'll never get anything. If I drive one of my cars, yeah, I end up wishing I had my trucks because I got something that won't fit. So I'm going to drive my truck, budget cuts. And I'm also taking the same one I took on Power Tour. Now, if you're new to the channel, I took this truck on Hot Rod Power Tour. I was attempting the long haul, and we didn't complete it, unfortunately. Be honest with you, I think I may have chickened out a little bit. I kind of panicked when I had some problems, but after I got home, the truck just kind of mysteriously fixed itself. So it's pretty much, for the most part, the same way it was from Power Tour. Hadn't done much. I've worked on other projects and it's just been way too hot. However, when I was going on Power Tour, I didn't even make it to Atlanta, and I blew the power steering. Well, my solution was to just keep dumping fluid in the reservoir pretty much every time I stopped, and it would hold fluid that long, even though it was leaking it quite profusely. How dare I do that? Anyway, we won't worry about that. So anyway, I've got the famous Ford power steering pump WHINE, and I got a couple new hoses. The thing is, right now I could take this truck to the show as is and it would do fine. Leak a little fluid, so what? So with just a couple days and me working a full-time job, not being able to dedicate a whole lot of time to this, I'm going to do the right thing and tear the power steering apart and get this hopefully fixed. Yep, definitely going to be using Armstrong steering. Alright, so this right here is the pump I got. This is the Ford style pump. I understand Ford used both Ford and the Saginaw. First thing, we got to get this off. So I reckon the best thing I can do, first thing, get some tension off that belt. Well, Pete's sake, I can tell you to get down. I said, go ahead and start loosening. Huh. That wasn't very tight to begin with. Ooh. I didn't know if I had the right size wrench on it. It's just that loose. Anyway, that's good enough there. Well, this one's a 5/8. Here's the rest of my 11/16. That's okay. Alright, so got the 9/16 one out at the bottom. Now we can relax the pump and remove the belt. And try not to do stuff like that. In that sort of business, I gotta get this pulley off. And that's probably why I heard it screaming a lot. Yeah, she's pretty wore out. This is what I'm going to use to pull the pulley. Harbor Freight pulley remover and installer set. You gotta use something like this because these pulleys are pressed on. It's been a minute since I used this too, but it shouldn't be too bad. I'll figure it out. Alright, so you put the bottom half in this thing in first. Come up from the bottom, and it is directional. The side with a recessed flange, at least on this one, goes out. Then you have the circular collar, just slide that over. I'll hold everything together. So it has this variety of like extension things that you can put in there. Anyway, I'm going to use the shortest one. And that'll keep you from mushrooming your head. And from that point, you just put your 1/2" wrench on the end here. And whatever size wrench this is, because I'm still using a crescent. And you take it and you tighten this nut down here. And that will pull your pulley off. Alright. Now, at no point did I say this was going to be easy. I'm a big old boy and I'm encountering quite a bit of resistance. What helps is this crescent wrench. The handle is sitting on the frame here. So I'm able to put all the ooga doogas on the socket wrench. Oh, until that happens. Sorry about the wiggling. I got one leg of a tripod on the battery. Trying to get y'all a little closer on the action. It's starting to get a little easier. There we go. Now just crying in the mud. I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite expressions. I use it a lot now that I've learned it. Alright, so we took this line off, 5/8 fit. This is the return line. Aha! So we got the pump out. Alright, so here at Two Labs Garage, I'm a one-man crew. And I bring it up because I am the mechanic, the cameraman, the producer, the director, the creator. I'm janitor, everything. I should probably be fired for my janitorial skills, but go there. Anyway, I bring this up because while I was filming and working on stuff, I didn't realize that I had a card full error on my screen. I just looked up, saw the screen going, saw a little red dot, assumed it was recording. Wrong. So I'm not sure how much I deleted, but I'm just going to recap a few things real quick and edit out what I don't need. And obviously I put a fresh card in. Down here on the steering box, the return line and the pressure line right on top here, both of them 5/8 nuts, took them off. There's a clip somewhere down there holding the return line on still on the cross member. I'm going to have to go digging for that here in a few minutes and pull that out, but anyway, I'm going to finish doing some stuff on top here. Anyway, while I was on Hot Rod Power Tour, one thing I'll mention is my mechanical fuel pump went out on me. So I managed to get to an AutoZone and I put this Edelbrock electric pump right here. Now, having used the electric pump for a majority of the tour, I decided I kind of like it, but I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to end up putting a pressure regulator here, and down close to the tank I'm going to put a pusher pump, and I'm going to use this one for like revivals and stuff, or just as something to carry with me in the truck, so, or car, wherever I'm driving. So if I ever have another pump failure, I can just zip this one in real quick and continue about my way. But I digress. But anyway, I got me a block off plate, and while this power steering pump is not there, it's a real good time, real convenient time for me to remove that. Go scrape the gasket material off. Alright, there you go. Looking really good for something that'll never be seen. Okay, so I got those lines off. I'm just inspecting them. Pressure line actually looks really, really good. No signs of cracking, age, or anything. But I have a new one. The return line, yuck, is showing decay and cracking. This may actually be where the leak was, even, but I'm pretty sure it was the pump. I'm just going to compare. This is my new pressure line. Yep, same thing. Now, the return line I got's a little different, as you can see. As for function, it's the same. But this one is one they call without the cooler. It's just a return line, comes down here, has a little loop, goes up in here to a rubber line. This is a new one. They call this a power steering fluid cooler. Personally, I think the cooler has fins on it. This one doesn't, but it's got a nice long line and a loop and this, that, and other. So this, hopefully, will be an upgrade from my old truck, since it's long outlived its life expectancy, and I plan on spicing the engine up on this truck a little bit, turning it into more of a toy. I just thought, if I got a new line, why not get the one up a cooler? Why not upgrade? So that's why I do it. And since the return line is the more complicated one of the two, do it first. Alright, so let's see. Just tuck that under the hose down in Neverland. Yes, the pressure line does use a significantly smaller nut, so me getting them confused should not be an issue. Anyway, I'm just going to get this started, more to hold it than anything. Just a couple turns, nothing tight. Alright, so I went ahead and attached it to the frame. The return line is. And over here I had to find another P-clip, which I found one in my junk drawer, which I don't have any idea what it came off of, but working pretty good here. And the lag bolt holding it in actually came off that remote filter kit from my Thunderbird. I ended up replacing that with a self-tapper, and so that was left over. Comes down here and around up there. I got the other P-clip in, just as nasty as ever, but it is there. So now the return line's hooked up, I can go up top and start putting some other stuff back together. And this is my greeting committee coming out from under a vehicle. Hi, baby girl. Love you. So back up here, try putting this in again. End up having to take that out to get enough slack in the line to put my P-clips on. We have the upgraded line, that should be just fine. And the pressure line. Let's get these all tightened up down here. Alright. Got them bolted up. I guess I gotta make sure I got good ooga-doogas on them. Alright, as for the pump itself, open wide. Alright, here we go. Hello! Nobody's home. Easy, babe. Don't void your warranty. Always flush the system and use the OE recommended fluid. Yeah. As for flushing the system, I changed the lines, I changed the pump, calling it flushed. I will use the Type F ATF for this. See no reason not to. Anyway, time to put this pulley back on. And this is something that's pressed on. So presto changeo, presto, I don't know, things gotta go. So first off, gotta figure out what goes in here. Seems like that might be a good one. Go ahead and put the washer here in the bearing, if I got room. Okay, I'm having a little bit of a hard time holding it now. I thought it might be advantageous to try to put this on before it went on the truck. Now I'm not so sure. But being as I got a bracket that will allow you to put the pulley on after the fact, I'll go ahead and just set her down here. Alright, so now, we got it on here. Now I just need to finish running the bolt up. Now I just need to finish tightening this pulley on here. Alright, so last time I used this tool was probably 3-4 years before I had a YouTube channel, so there was no documentation of me using it, which stinks because where I'm getting confused, I'd just go back and look at the old footage, figure out what I did then. Now the problem I have is every time I go tighten this down, it wants to unscrew from the pump, and it'll never go that way. So rather than hold the wrench on the end here, I'm thinking I may have put some vice grips on the pulley. Just gotta be careful not to damage it. Take a little more out. Alright. We'll see how that goes. I may need to adjust it, but I think it might be on something. Alright, yeah. Those couple turns, it was squishing my finger when I wedged my finger in there, so that's a good sign. Alright, so I think we're starting to get close on the pulley alignment. A couple ways to check it. One, I look at back here at the back spacing real close. Get y'all a better view that way. Another thing is you can take your old pump and see if you can tell just how much shaft was showing. So that looks to me like 3/16 of an inch. And that looks like 3/16, so we're close. Another thing you can do is take something you know is a straight edge. In this case I'm using a level. Pull down your pulley and use that to line them up. And that looks fairly close. The V-belts are pretty forgiving, so anyway, go ahead, take this off. And if these are Pittsburgh, you don't have to have the best vice grips in the world. Now I gotta get that off. Alright, so just off side note, this set here, the Pittsburgh pulley remover from Harbor Freight, I'm just gonna say off the bat, I don't remember what I paid for it. I got it back in 2018, and this is only the second time I've used it, so 5 years, been used twice. But I don't think it's money thrown away because I've done 2 jobs with it, and the first time I used it, more than paid for itself just in the labor cost of getting somebody else to press the thing on and off and probably do the whole job. So nonetheless, it's a small investment, but in my case I believe it was worth it. And I can tell you, the Pittsburgh one, you'll get at least 2 jobs out of it, probably more than that, but I'm glad I got it. Might be years before I use it again, who knows, but good set. So what I'm going to do now is hook my lines up. Now, Beans I already have the return line clamped to the frame, it didn't give me much slop, which if I hadn't done that, I could have easily attached the return line to the pump I had up in the air, but I elected not to. It's probably not that big a deal. So I thought about using a crimp connection on that. Instead, I'm just going to use a hose clamp because, well, I thought the crimp one would be harder to get to and definitely be harder to remove when the time comes. Hopefully this pump will last me the rest of my life. I mean, the other one was, I had the truck 22 years and it whined the whole time I had it. If I can get the good years plus the 22 years of whining, it'll outlast me. Alright, so got this slid on. And I'd show y'all, but I'm working blind myself. So anyway, just make sure that the part of a hose clamp that you're taking down is accessible. Yeah, alright. Alright, there's 9/16 dummy plug. I think I got pre-bled or pre-lubed or pre-something of it. So anyway, that's out. Now, pressure line. Now, here's the end of that. And in this little bag here is an O-ring. And that, if you look right here on this fitting, right here, there's a ridge. So drop the O-ring never to be seen again. That was smooth. Nope, not at all. At this point, I'm going to be real thankful that my new pump also came with an O-ring, and just use that one. So now, just be a little more careful this time, and put this O-ring on it. Just I'll take this stuff out. It goes flying. It's held. So anyway, there that goes. Good little trick I just taught myself too by putting a screwdriver through there so you don't lose your O-ring. I've known that 5 minutes ago, I'd be in better shape. So anyway, this goes down here to the side. Alright. Let's just tighten that on with a wrench. Now just use a 5/8 wrench, tighten that up. Alright, now it's just time to put some fluid in it. And these old Ford trucks like this, they use the Type F automatic transmission fluid for power steering fluid, which is kind of handy if you got a truck that's got automatic in it. I digress. Anyway, go ahead and fill the reservoir up with that. So yes, I did overfill it a little bit right now, but we know we got air in the system, so it'll suck it down and kind of do all that. Let's see. Right now, and if you wonder why I didn't hook the belt up yet, it's so I can do this. Just very easily turn the pulley by hand. These slow revolutions won't hurt a dry seal. I can actually feel it stiffening up a little bit now. This is just a good way to start the bleeding process. Now I'm going to go ahead and hook up the belt. Actually, now that I think about it, before Power Tour I was having some trouble with this belt screaming. So what I did was put an undersized belt on it, which means this bolt has to come all the way out for me even get the belt on it. And it still screamed. But hopefully, with a new pump and all that stuff, she'll stop now. Because that is quite annoying. As the adjuster bolts out, flop this thing as far as it'll go. I'll stick this back on. Alright, now we gotta get some tension on that belt. And believe it or not, putting a pry bar in between this bolt and the bracket there actually does a decent job. Yeah, it's got decent belt tension. But whatever you do, you don't want to pry on the reservoir, or your new pump you'll just be redoing everything you just did, because I'll typically break the reservoir. So now I need to fire this thing up and take it out and spin the wheel and all. I don't want to run in the garage because of the exhaust fumes. Yeah, I need to get this thing out and run it. But we got a problem. We got a car parked in the way. But it has not run since 1997. And it's not mine. It belongs to my wife. But I think somebody needs to revive this. What do y'all think? Emergency alert. National Weather Service. Tropical storm warning. Perfect. Alright, so it's been about 2 or 3 months since I started this thing. And I've changed a whole bunch of stuff around electronically. See if I can remember how to start this thing. Alright, she's not wanting to idle a whole lot, but I do love the way it sounds. I do think I'll put some boom tubes on it eventually, but nonetheless, while I was sitting there, I managed to steer the wheel back and forth a couple times, try to get the system bled out. The only thing left to do is really take it for a drive. Oh, and make sure I got plenty of coolant and oil and stuff. Alright, so I needed to shoot a send-off video, and I couldn't do it anytime except in the middle of tropical storm number 16. And they say I will impersonate anybody, so today it's Jim Catastrophe from the Weather Channel. Whew, that must have been a 14-15 mile gust. Winds are blowing steady at 11 miles an hour. But if y'all could, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. And I hope this video helped y'all power steering pump. So until next time, take care of yourself. Man, these winds are terrible. That may have been 16 miles an hour. Take care of each other. Beware of those storms. God bless you. See you again soon. I gotta admit, that was fun.